can you start, please, by talking about attachment? What does it mean when we speak of attachment, and what's its meaning to the field of early childhood education?
So attachments, thanks, Lois, is all about relationships. Babies, the research shows, babies need to have significant adults in their life who respond to them in loving, nurturing, predictable ways, but particularly when they are upset and distressed, they need to have somebody who will respond and pick them up, soothe them, try and figure out what's going on with them. That creation of those predictable routines and responses is what we call attachment. It's between two people originally, the research looked at, but what we now know is that that attachment system that begins in infancy is absolutely expandable to other adults outside of the parents. So it means that early childhood educators are absolutely in a position to develop strong, predictable, soothing relationships with children, that they become like a stronger muscle that of connection in the brain when there are other adults involved. So what the research says is that when you have what's called a secure attachment, that means the world is predictable. If I'm upset, somebody is there. There's somebody who enjoys my pleasure in things. Warm, responsive, predictable caregiving, then you are secure in the world. You're secure in doing what babies and toddlers need to do, and that is grow and explore. So that's secure attachment. We long for that. That's what we hope for. If that doesn't happen, if the parent or the caregivers are not predictable, that sometimes they respond to the baby and sometimes they don't respond, those babies can become insecurely attached. They are more clingy, they're more dependent, they're less able to learn how to regulate their own tension and energy and emotion. And so insecure attachment is something that we worry a lot about, but we know that if a baby comes into a centre that is high quality, nurturing, building relationships, that they can in fact develop secure attachments to their caregivers, even if they have an insecure one with their parent. So the opportunity for growth and development is absolutely massive.
So there's some key messages for our educators that work perhaps in an early on program, which may be the first place that a family visits with their child, or for those in the child care programs where they're supporting the family in returning to work or school.
Yeah, so I think in the early on centres, it would be essential for the educators to be talking to the parents about attachment, about the importance of what I call relational health. How is the baby learning to relate to you? How are they learning about how safe the world is, how predictable somebody is coming to help soothe me? So I think it's really important that the early on educators are well aware of attachment and the importance of that as a relationship, because that's what grows the brain. You don't explore and learn new things if you feel on guard all the time. So that's really important. But I think the other aspect of things, expanding the baby's horizons, as it were, by having relationships with other people other than their primary mum, dad, partner, is also very important for babies to learn that there are many relationships that they can have that are predictable. And that even includes having opportunities for gatherings where babies are sitting around with other babies and seeing what they're doing and learning from them. So it's the building of relationships and connection in a respectful manner that is absolutely the core of a high quality infant and toddler care.
So what I'm hearing is multiple relationships are a good thing. So if a child was demonstrating a preferred connection to one adult, Do we want to respond to that, or do we want to shift that? Can you speak to that, please?
So it's a tricky question because there are different schools of thought about preferred adult or primary caregiver in the childcare setting. What we want to do always is to respect and observe acutely the baby's behavior, their movement towards, and always respect that movement. The issue becomes challenging when if a baby, and temperamentally, we'll talk about temperament, but temperamentally some babies are more intensely connected to one person. You absolutely respect that, but you want to be opening the door of possibility to be able to connect with other adults. So if you've got a baby who is intensely attached to one or have a relationship with one adult, you want to bring in other adults to share the joy, to share the experiences, so that they can be shifted to more than one. Why? Because practically, what happens about vacation? If a baby is just stuck on one person, then how can they learn how to accommodate it? But number one is you follow the baby's lead, you trust and respect the baby, and then you try and do the expanding of that. So it has implications for transitioning into childcare. So the way to do that ideally is to have multiple visits, multiple predictable routines. This is how we have people come, you come and visit, and the teacher is there and saying, "Hi, how are you? I'm so happy to see you," and takes them to and shows them the different parts of the classroom, gives them back to mum, dad, or partner, and that happens over multiple times. And there's a routine, it's predictable, that changes the baby's brain. Also, it's important that the caregiver and the parents make good serve and return as well, so that the parent says, "My baby's safe here. I can trust these people to look after them." So there's a relationship that also has to develop at the caregiver to adult level as well.
Thanks so much, Jean.